is the worst place in our state. This is the saddest place in our city. This is a place where over 6,000 babies are killed each year. This place does more business than any other abortion clinic in the state of Pennsylvania. This place only does abortions. They only do killing. They don't help with birth control,
Watch a car.
mammograms, or any other thing else for women. Strictly abortion facility.
Tell me something of a history of your father. Tell me about your father. There's some Irishmen and women who are going to hear this.
Well, my father was, back in the late 60s, was alerted to the fact that abortions were coming to our country. Up in New York, sort of a prophet, he saw the winds changing, coming, and was one of the frontline organizers in the pro-life movement. Joined the National Right to Life, the Pro-Life Federation, got those things started, was the treasurer for them for a while. But more than anything, he was in front of these clinics when they started opening and praying, and he never stopped. He did it for over 40 years until the Lord took him almost 5 years ago.
I went to so-called reproductive health care and counseling, which was a freestanding abortion mill on the grounds of a hospital. And it was substantially far enough in from the sidewalk that you couldn't, unless you wanted to risk arrest, you couldn't walk on the property. There was an injunction that had already been in place there for years.
Maybe there's a little piece you could share about what it's like as a woman, especially to go to jail when you never thought you would do that when you were growing up.
I didn't think I would hold a sign outside of an abortion clinic either, but eventually you kind of grow into it. And the rescues were happening here in the Philadelphia area, right in our backyard, Paley.
Yeah.
And we would go there and pray. And when it came time for the Operation Rescue, and when they came, and we were on the parking lot, which we really, by court order, said it was okay, that there were a certain designated number of counselors. But on the day when the rescue was there, they said couldn't be there.
And we get to the end of the March for Life at the Supreme Court of the United States, and there are a number of these people that I had seen in the Hardee's restaurant. They were kneeling down on the Supreme Court steps, and the Capitol Police were arresting them. And I thought, this is outrageous. They're just kneeling there. They're being arrested.
Would you say like 1984, 85, you heard about peaceful nonviolent rescue sit-ins? Yeah. Where was the first time you heard about that?
We went, John Kavanaugh O'Keefe, an author on the subject, came and spoke to us, and we went down to Gaithersburg, Maryland, and saw the first attempt to show a bit of civil disobedience. And a couple people were arrested. We weren't, but it was an introduction to what needed to be done for more public display. Do
you remember the first time you were arrested?
Yes, it was in Bridgeport, Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Wow.
And at an abortion clinic there.
Yeah, and eventually that place was closed down?
That's correct.
Do you think that the civil disobedience had a role to play in that?
Well, it certainly did, because the police, from that point on, caused such a disturbance inside the abortion clinic that the owner decided he had to close it down.
At that time, we probably spent 2 days in prison. There were a great number of people, and it was really put a lot of pressure on the prison system.
And you, as a parent, had these young people come, now living in a world with abortion.
Yeah.
And is that a large motivator? Is that why you got involved?
Motivator was the Catholic faith.
Okay.
As soon as we heard that abortion was made legal and we knew that it was killing, we decided to do something.
Well, thou shalt not murder probably was the first thing that comes into my mind. And obviously, who said that.
She invited me to come to a talk at a local Catholic church of a guy who had been involved in direct action. So I went and heard the talk, and the man was saying, now, if you were about to be killed, Would you want somebody to hold a sign and protest your death? Would you want somebody to write letters to your congressman about protesting your death? Would you want somebody to actually try to stop you from being killed? And obviously the logic is you'd want somebody to try to stop you from being killed.
Would I have done that by myself? Probably not. But because there were a lot of other people who prayerfully determined that had to stand between the abortionist and the baby.
I'm here because there's two reasons. One, women deserve better than abortion. I think that it's much more fitting to the dignity of the woman to be given the resources to become a mother rather than kill her child because she's being told you can't pursue your dreams if you have a child. Like, I feel like it's way more empowering for women to hear, like, you can do this, rather than you can't do this, you have to give up, you know? And the other reason is because the unborn child, no matter how small, is a person, and they deserve the right to life, and we need to defend them because they don't have a voice to defend themselves.
When we discovered that it was in fact an active weekly abortion clinic, we said that is where we have to be on every day that we can when they're open.
We've met through the pro-life movement, and you have 7 children, and some of your children have stood with you in prayer.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, all of them
Yeah.
at different times. Yeah. So it becomes a family affair,
Right.
and everyone supports each other. And you make friends that are like family.
That's right.
Yeah. Describe what you would do, like when you're
All we would
inside,
do
to
was go
sit
in
down in the
and
hall and
speak,
pray.
say nothing, except situate yourself between the people that were there, or head for a room that was empty and occupy a room. That's all there was to it.
Right.
Sit down, kneel down, pray.
I was one of the people that occupied one of the killing rooms for quite a while. We locked the door and we wouldn't let the police in. And the police eventually bashed down the door and got us out of there.
When I, became more conscious of what was going on in the country first and now around the world,
Yeah.
that we reclassified babies as they did in Germany with Jews and gypsies and any and all dissenters,
Yeah.
as they did in China, as they did in Africa with I forget his name, but Ho Chi Minh, certainly in China. We were doing the very same thing. That's how we justified slavery. Was we reclassified people or humans into something less than what God said we are.
I'm here because you can't sit by while innocent people are being slaughtered every day. Here they only slaughter them, I think, on Fridays, Wednesdays, but you
Used to be
can't
Tuesdays.
just sit by and do nothing. I'm doing what I can do, which is stand outside and witness to what's going on there, praying and interceding for the woman that they will receive the support they need to raise children and the grace to spare their children from this evil, and that they would realize that they aren't defined by their mistakes, that there's always room for redemption, there's always an opportunity for God's mercy, and He may in fact use these children to bring about their flourishing and not their detriment.
The first thing we did was go down to pray the rosary at Crozier Chester Hospital.
Which is in Delaware
But
County.
also taking part in the March for Life as
Right.
early as we could get into it.
Did you encounter that? It's always in late January, on the 22nd of January. Did you encounter snow?
Lots of times.
Yeah.
Over 40 years?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. It didn't keep you from going.
No, it's something that you have to do. There's a call to public witness in this event because of what happened in our country, and you have to do it. It's a conscience thing.
We need to step between the abortionist knife and the mother and the baby. Try to convince the mother not to kill their child. But even if you can't convince the mother, you're still a witness to the sanctity of that child's life by being willing to lay down your life.
We're here to be the voice for the voiceless and to protect life and to uphold the dignity of women. But also, I think it's especially important for young people to be coming out here because this is the world we've been given and we're the next generation and this is our problem and we need to stand up for it, for the truth, and again to be there for the babies who cannot defend themselves and the mothers who need support and just need comfort and truth right now.
Yeah.
So that's what we're here for.
When I was about 4 years old, we were at another abortion clinic in Philadelphia, and it was around Christmas time, and everybody wanted to go to the Macy's show. But for some reason, I felt compelled to say, no, let's stay here a little longer. And we did, and this Cambodian couple pulled up in their car, and they had already had one baby, and they were going in to schedule an appointment, but my mom was able to talk to the girl and the dad, and them seeing like their children playing with their little daughter.
Yeah,
It
what were
really
you doing?
touched them. We were like playing peekaboo and stuff.
Yeah, through the window of the
Yeah,
car.
through the window of the
I
car.
remember that. That was great.
And then my mom and it was her name Sophie. They exchanged numbers, and later on that night she called my mom and said, "Laura, I keep baby." And now that baby is like 12 years old, and I got to hold him in my arms. Like,
I think actually the baby's almost 15.
yeah. Well, I got to
Yeah.
hold the baby in my arms.
Yeah.
And that was amazing.
I do remember the story that Tony told, but not as well. I just wanted to say something that I think is important to acknowledge as the pro-life movement is we do understand that it's hard to choose life. We do understand that it's hard to bring a child into the world when you're not prepared to, when it's the last thing, it was the last thing on your mind, the last thing you wanted to do. But, and there is going to be a lot of sacrifice, but we are here to support you, we're here to love you, we're here to provide you with the resources that you need to be in your mom, and we'll be with you every step of the way. That's what we want to be here for.
How about you, Kathleen?
Yes, I have no one that I know personally, but even just standing out here and coming with RLA students back in grade school, we've seen mothers who've come out and they've said, thank you for your witness, thank you for being here because I'm going to keep the baby. And it's the most amazing thing. It really is.
We don't go inside the buildings anymore because of the restrictions put on by the federal government, and therefore we pray outside and counsel the women. That's our position.
Yeah.
That's what we're called to do.
Yeah.
We're asking everybody that looks at this or hears this video or sees the film to consider that is, you have prayer and you have public witness and you have God. And God is the prime mover in when this place is going to close, when this is going to stop in our country. But we have to do those other two parts. That's our call.
So we're continuing my pop's legacy. We will continue until the killing stops. And we hope that the people in Ireland are able to put a quick stop to it through the grassroots movement, leading them to the truth. And once they start seeing the pictures of what happens in an abortion, we hope it comes to an end. God bless the Irish people.
When I got involved in rescue, a wise Irish Columban father who was over here as a missionary said to me, "Walter, you are now directly confronting the evil one, Satan, by being involved in the pro-life movement. I strongly suggest that you go to daily mass and go to monthly confession and develop a prayer life with the rosary." And I've done that. And I'm recommending you do the same, because you are definitely fighting the diabolical when you are fighting abortion. It's not just a philosophical difference. You are fighting the diabolical. And the diabolical uses all kinds of tricks to deceive people. And he'll definitely tempt you. God bless you.